This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, this topic will be useful to your pediatrics and also community medicine also. I think you people are preparing for ophthalm, ENT, community medicine subjects. So this nutrition, very, very important for you for both subjects, including even OBGYN subject also. Okay? So, as all of you know, what is nutrition? It's a process. I think since your primary and secondary school onwards, you know about the nutrition. But for division sake, and what is important, particularly pertaining to the pediatric age group and pregnant and lactating women, I am dealing today with this topic. Okay. So, nutrition means it's a process by which organisms utilizes the food. And every year, actually, from 1st September to 7th September, we conduct National Nutrition Week in our India. 1st to 7th September. For this is for your any IAP quiz or entrance bit, you can remember this. And in this, usually we will concentrate on IYCN. That is, what is IYCN means? Infant, young children nutrition. It's very, very important. Why? Because actually we should take care of first 1000 days of life. First 1000 days of life means it includes from conception, pregnancy, and first 2 years of life. If you calculate, it comes to 1000 days of life. Is anybody can tell why first 1000 days of life of every individual is very, very important? Roll number 2. Roll number 2. Present or absent? 3. Roll number 3. 4.
3 present, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell
3
anything
present,
regarding? Okay. Roll number 3 is present. So anything regarding first 1000 days of life, why nutrition is very, very important. Especially we have to take special emphasis on this first 1000 days of life. What do you think? Whatever you know, according to your knowledge, say something.
brain development.
Why it is important?
Brain development takes place only in initial life.
Okay, good. It's very, because maximum almost 98% of brain develops by 2 years of life. One is very good point you told. Anything else?
Don't know.
Okay. Roll number 20. Absent or present? Roll number 20. Can you tell anything, other things regarding the first 1000 days of life? So nowadays, every pediatrician and neonatologist is bothered about first 1000 days of life. One more thing. What is that? 25.
Growth. Immunity.
25, roll number 25.
Ma'am, immunity, ma'am.
Roll number 25. Present or absent? Roll number 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. Roll number 30.
Ma'am, present, ma'am.
Can you tell anything regarding the importance of first 1000 days of life? Why nutrition is more important in first 1000 days of life? Anything he told mention about the brain development? That's mainly concerned about the development. So anything? Growth. Don't bother about growth like weight and height or length. No, that is also usually whatever length or height they receive by 2 years, attained by 2 years, will estimates the adult height also. So both for growth and development, and especially brain development, first 1000 days of life, we can't revert it back. We won't take that in the first 1000 days of life. We can't revert it back to the normal when you recognize after 2 years of life. Not only that, even in utero life is also very, very important. That's why prenatal too, that is preconception, antenatal period from mother health onwards is very important, because the mother is malnourished, she is underweight or stunted, she usually gives rise to low birth weight babies only. So that's why it's extended up to adolescent health. Okay, of girls also very important, because healthy women gives rise to healthy babies. So we have to concentrate nutrition not only in childhood, have to concentrate from the adults and girls' health to pregnancy, and should be continued up to first 2 years of life, because in utero there is a Barker's hypothesis in the nutrition, that is fetal origin of adult onset diseases like hypertension, metabolic syndrome, hyperlipidemias, diabetes mellitus, all will be seated in utero in the fetal life itself. The maternal malnutrition is there, fetus is not receiving adequate nutrients. This will lead to later on long-term complications like obesity, metabolic syndrome, hyperlipidemias, hypertension, coronary artery disease, and all those things that will be dealt in even general medicine also. That is called as Barker's hypothesis. That's why first 1,000 days of life is very, very important. All of you should remember this. And what is complementary feeding? Previously they used to call as weaning. Weaning, nowadays we are not using this word, because mother may think weaning means complete cessation. Usually that has to be taken place at 6 months. 6 months means 6 completed months. But weaning, they will think that we have to stop the breastfeeding and we have to give the semi-solids. That's not the exact meaning. That's why it is changed to word complementary feeding. That means systematic process of introduction of suitable food at the right time in addition to the mother's milk, in order to provide needed nutrients to the baby. So the mother should not stop giving breast milk to the baby. She has to continue giving breast milk and should introduce semi-solid food or suitable food at the right time, that is 6 months. So should not be before 6 months, should not be delayed beyond 6 months. So if it is given before 6 months, it leads to indigestion and cow's milk allergy, and all allergic proneness will be increased. It is before 6 months of life. And after 6 months, delayed like 9 months, some people they will start at 9 months, 11 months, like that. They think there is no good days in those period like that. But it delays the introduction of semi-solids to the infant, leading to protein energy malnutrition. Because up to 6 months only, the calories and proteins and other micronutrients supplied by the human milk will be sufficient to the growth of the infant. Beyond that, we have to give additional calories, proteins, and micronutrients in the form of complementary feeding. That is called as complementary feeding or weaning. So better to use complementary feeding only. Don't use the word weaning. So these are the importance of first 1,000 days of life. That includes from conception, pregnancy, and first 2 years of life. Especially, as we already discussed, it's a predictor. Length at 2 years of age, the predictor of adult height and productivity. So this is very important. We can't revert it back after 2 years. And also brain, almost near adult size. Like 98% of the development will take place by end of 2 years of age. So practically, it's very impossible to reverse the height and brain growth. So if the baby is stunted at 2 years of age, there will be lifelong stunted people or people with short stage. And if the brain development affected, they will become like cerebral palsy children, or maybe mentally retarded children like epilepsy, all learning disabilities children. Before 2 years, any insult in utero or after at the time of birth or immediately after birth, up to 2 years, like even meningitis at 1 year of age can lead to chronic sequel in the form of paraplegias or hemiplegias or mental retardation and cerebral palsy. So all of you should remember, first 2 years is very, very important. That's why you have to take care of the health of the fetus, neonates, infants, and young children. So nutrition during the first 2,000 days, that includes conception, pregnancy, and first 2 years. It's a profound importance for realizing the physical and intellectual potential of the individual. And also, as I told you, Barker's hypothesis, that is fetal origin of adult onset diseases. So nutrition correction after these 2 years will not change any things to normal. So why nutrition is important? What are the primary functions of the nutrients? Actually, we are studying this topic from primary school levels onwards, just for revision and sake, I'm just telling about. So always don't forget about always we have to remember water also a nutrient, very, very important nutrient, because its main function dissolves and carries the nutrients, removes the waste and regulates the body temperature. So always we have to advise the child and other individual to take plenty of water for these functions. So water also a very important nutrient. So most of the people will forget and they will take only less water, that leads to so many complications. And proteins, as you know, it's mainly helps in the building of new tissues, antibodies, enzymes, hormones, and other so many components are proteins only. So protein deficiency, antibody production will be affected, and hormone synthesis will be affected, leading to protein energy malnutrition. And carbohydrates, very energy yielding, especially provides the energy, instant energy carbohydrates. And fats, as you know, it's energy, long-term energy, and also insulation and protection, and also it helps in providing fat soluble vitamins and transport of fat soluble vitamins. So micronutrients like vitamins and minerals is very, very important for the regulation of growth and manufacturing of hormones, and also for the function of muscles and nervous system. So all nutrients are very, very important. So if all nutrients are there in adequate quantities and which are needed for the growth and the physical activity and the development of the child, what do you call that diet? What do you call that diet? Balanced diet. Okay, coming to the food items and food groups. Please, all of you concentrate. It's very important topic for your seventh semester exams, like community medicine. Also, nutrition is an important topic in community medicine or SPM subject, and also pediatrics. So, for that purpose only, I selected this topic, which will be useful for you in both theory and practical exams. So, food items are divided into cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, milk and milk products, meat group, and fish, and sugars and oils. So this will comes in the food pyramid also. So as all of you know, energy yielding foods, what are the energy yielding, what are the body building foods, the productive foods, and micronutrients. What are trace elements which are required in very trace quantities, that is less than 0.01% of the body weight. Those are called as trace elements. Balanced diet, as I told you, optimum quantity of all food groups and food items needed for the physical activity, growth, development, and repair of aging tissues and maintenance of body function. That is called as balanced diet. Usually asked in the practicals during your orals. We'll be having nutrition as a table in community medicine and also pediatrics. So there definitely we will be asked about what is a balanced diet. So this is a food pyramid. You know, these are the different colors indicating different food groups, like orange indicating grains and cereals, and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, and other vegetables and fruits. And these we can take more quantities along with milk and milk products. So what are to be taken less is the yellow one, that is oils and fats. These are protein giving foods like meat and all those, moderate amount. So this will be in servings. Usually we will call how many servings of these proteins, fats, carbohydrates can be taken. Can remember like this, it's a pyramid shape. So in the lowest most, that is around 6 to 11 servings, you can take grains, and fruits and vegetables around 2 to 4. But fruits 2 to 4 servings and vegetables 3 to 5 servings per day. These are per day, servings per day. And dairy products and proteins 2 to 3 servings. For normal individual and adults, 2 servings is sufficient, but growing ages and pregnancy, they have to be given for 3 servings of dairy products and proteins. And less, very sparingly should use fats, oils, sweets, should be taken very less amounts. So this is called as food pyramid, as all of you know. So coming to the energy. So 1 unit of energy is equal to 1 kilocalorie. Who's roll number 28? 28. Absent?
Yes, ma'am.
29? 28 absent or present?
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, 1 unit of energy we call as 1 kilocalorie. What do you mean by 1 kilocalorie? I think since your school levels you are reading about this energy unit. What is the definition of kilocalorie? Can you tell? Anybody? Anybody from the class? What is a kilocalorie? Kilocalorie is the heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg of water, that is 1 liter of water from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius. That is called as kilocalorie. You can convert into joules, means 1 calorie is equal to, calorie means kilocalorie only, is equal to 4.184 joules. So these are fundamentals. Sometimes some people may ask you whether you know the basics or not. For that purpose, you should remember. So coming to the carbohydrates. Roll number 30, present or absent? Roll number 30.
Present, ma'am.
So can you tell 1 gram of carbohydrate gives how many calories? You people are not preparing for community medicine subject at all. These are given in your SPM Park textbook also. 1 gram of carbohydrate gives how much? How many calories?
4 calories, ma'am.
That's fundamentals all of you should know and remember also, because if anybody asks in your exams, if you won't answer, they will think that even basics also that is doesn't know, how can I pass like that. So all of you remember the basics. 1 carbohydrate, 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of protein. Who is the name? I want name. Roll number 30. What is your name?
Tanmay,
Roll
ma'am.
number Tanmay. Okay. 1 gram of protein gives how many calories?
4 calories, ma'am.
1 gram of fats?
9 calories, ma'am.
Good. You should remember in SPM practicals and also in pediatrics. Sometimes when this nutrition table is there, obviously they can ask these things as a basic questions. Okay, so 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 kilocalories. So it's energy dense and also provides taste and energy. Especially if you remember, glucose mainly fuel for the brain and muscles, and especially heart and RBCs, red blood cells, use only glucose for energy. Whenever hypoglycemia is there, these are the organs will be affected, brain, heart, RBCs. And we should not be more than 60% of the total calories from carbohydrates. So you should take around 55 to 60% of energy from the carbohydrates. So roll number 32. Who is roll number 32? Roll number 32 absent. 33. Roll number 33. 34. 35.
Yes, ma'am. 34 present, ma'am.
34.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your name?
Ratnaharita, ma'am.
Ratnaharita. Can you tell nutritive value of this food? What is this food?
Spinach.
So it contains what are the food items, nutritive value. Just guess and tell, otherwise, if you know, okay, otherwise think and tell, because daily, most of the days we will taking this green leafy vegetable.
Iron.
So it's rich in iron. Okay, good. Anything else?
Vitamin A.
Like vitamins, like
A.
vitamins like A, good. One more item.
Vitamin.
One more vitamin. Folic acid is there or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's rich in iron, folic acid, vitamin A, and also one more thing. So rich. Why you will advise people to take green leafy vegetables? One more reason.
Fiber.
Good. Fiber. It's not provides calories, fiber, but it's very important to prevent carcinomas and increase the maintain the normal flora of the gut and softening of the stools. Good. So this fiber is unabsorbable carbohydrates. It's present in green leafy vegetables and fruits and whole grains also. So that's why you should take these things mainly to increase the bulk of the diet, and it won't provide any energy, but especially it increases the holding capacity of the water and also bile binding capacity, and promotes the growth of normal intestinal microflora, which indirectly synthesizes the vitamin B complex. And it decreases the cholesterol and limits the glucose absorption also slowly. Absorption of the glucose will be slowed down, and especially prevents the constipation, colon cancers. It's very, very important. There is less fiber in the diet. Those individuals more prone for constipation and colon cancers. But disadvantages, if excessive fiber can reduce the bioavailability of minerals and increases the flatulence and decreases the appetite. That's taken if it is taken in more quantities. Who is roll number 36? 36. Present or absent? 37, 38, 39.
38 present.
I'm recording all these numbers will be marked
Yes,
as
ma'am.
absent.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not
37.
answering. 37. Okay, what is your name?
37 present. Yes, ma'am.
Name.
Lohit, ma'am. Lohit.
Lohit. Okay. What is the importance of these food items? Or otherwise nutritive value of these food items shown in this slide?
Meat, ma'am. Proteins.
Proteins. Anything else? Only proteins will be there? Calories won't be there?
Fatty
Fat
acids.
won't be there? Okay, good.
Fatty acids.
Okay. So proteins, especially these are protein-rich foodstuffs. There are prime importance. That's why called as proteins. 1 gram as already dealt. It gives 4 kilocalories, and there are 24 amino acids. Among those, 8 amino acids are essential in all age groups. 3 amino acids like cysteine, arginine, taurine are essential in low birth weight babies. Roll number 40, absent or present? Roll number 40.
Present, ma'am.
What is your name?
Vanyasiri, ma'am.
Padmasri. Can you mention the essential amino acids names? Same questions will be asked in your orals. Nutrition table will be there in your community medicine practicals and also pediatrics practicals. So you should know the caloric values and protein values of some of the foodstuffs and important essential amino acids and fatty acids names also. Can you mention the 8 essential amino acids? Actually, will be dealt in already. Will be dealt in pediatrics. Already, I think it already dealt in community medicine and also even in biochemistry. Long back. Essential amino acids names.
Leucine, lysine, methionine,
Okay.
phenylalanine,
Okay. M for
arginine,
arginine.
methionine,
Methionine, tryptophan,
valine,
valine, isoleucine, leucine. Isoleucine, I think you forgotten. Isoleucine,
Isoleucine.
leucine, isoleucine also. So essential amino acids which are to be provided from the outside, that's why we call as essential amino acids. So especially very important, these proteins are for growth and also repair of the tissues and formation of body fluids and enzymes. And coming to the recommended daily allowances, especially it varies with the age of the child. In less than 1 year, they require more proteins. In that to newborns, they require around 2.5 grams per kg per day. In children, it is around 1.8 to 1.5 grams per kg per day. Compared to the adults, it will be only 0.7 grams per kg per day because there won't be that much growth in adults. And should not be more than 15% of the energy should comes from the proteins. So what is a complete protein means? Complete protein is a protein which supplies all the essential amino acids needed for the body. Difference protein means provides all essential amino acid that pattern almost close to the tissue protein. Examples are egg. So that's why egg is a reference protein. Why so many people will ask in the orals why egg is a reference protein? You should tell this that it provides essential amino acid pattern close to tissue proteins and digestibility quotient of biological available values also good, is almost 96%. So that's why egg is a reference protein. So coming to the fats, as all of you know, it's a concentrated energy, and saturated, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fat should be in the ideal ratio, like 1:1:1 ratio only, and should take in very less quantities. 1 gram provides 9 kilocalories. And long chain fatty acid means contains carbons of more than 12 or more chains, or medium means 7 to 11, and short means 6 carbons in long chain. That's called as fatty acid. Depending upon that only called as long chain fatty acids or short chain fatty acids. So as all of you know, always trans fats should be taken very less. Trans fats are not healthy, like more commonly present in junk foods like pizzas, burgers, and these French fries and all those oily foods should be avoided. We should take fats which contains unsaturated fatty acids and also essential fatty acids. This is roll number 37. Roll number 37. Present or absent?
Present, ma'am. Present.
37 name.
Lohit, ma'am. Lohit.
37 name. Lohit. Okay.
Lohit, ma'am.
38
38 present, ma'am.
name.
Mohit, ma'am. Mohit.
Mohit.
Ma'am.
39 40 41
40 present, ma'am.
40
Present, ma'am.
name.
Vanya Siri, ma'am.
Bhavyasri. Name some essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acid names.
Hi.
42. Roll number 42, 43.
42 present, ma'am.
What is your name?
Bhavna, ma'am.
Bhavana. Can you tell the names of essential fatty acids?
Alpha linolenic acid.
Be loud.
Alpha linolenic acid.
Good. Linoleic and linolenic acid and
Arachidonic acid.
and these are essential fatty acids are very important, especially for the myelination of the brain. Okay. So next coming to saturated fats and unsaturated fats, I think you know. So coming to the minerals are very, very important in balanced diet, because some minerals especially important to the maintenance of good muscle activity and all those, like examples like electrolytes and also comes under these micro minerals and macro minerals. Next, trace elements recommended in very less quantity, like less than 0.01% of the body. Like main essential, these trace elements are again divided into essential to body growth and potentially toxic. Essential ones are iron, iodine, zinc, selenium. Sometimes they are called as super nutrients also. Yes, trace elements, otherwise called as super nutrients. Especially iron, iodine, zinc, selenium, and copper, they are called as super nutrients. Why? Because there is iron deficiency, it can lead to anemia. Anemia in turn leads to decreased cognitive functions, memory, decreased memory and growth, and also can lead, severe anemia can lead to congestive heart failure, and not treated even death also can occur with severe anemias. So that's much important. Even iodine is very important. Maternal iodine deficiency and fetal iodine deficiency leads to congenital hypothyroidism, and it can affect the development of the brain. So they will become mental retarded children, which is preventable if there is iodine in adequate quantities in the diet. That's why iodine fortification and all is taken away. Zinc is very important, as all of you know, very important for integration of the immunity and the integration of the mucous membranes. So to prevent respiratory tract infections, to prevent diarrhea diseases, and as a treatment, and also even in case of recent respiratory infection by the COVID-19, also they are giving zinc supplementation. That much important trace element is zinc, and also selenium and copper. These are also other trace elements which are important in the diet. And toxic elements are fluorine, which excess can lead to fluorosis, and lead poisoning can lead to lead encephalopathy and hemolytic anemia, cadmium, mercury poisoning, and arsenic. These are the poisonous or toxic trace elements. And before going to the dietary requirements, you should know what are the periods of growth. What are the names given in prenatal period? Like ovum, as all of you know, ovum means 0 to 14 days of life, called as ovum, and embryo from 2 weeks to 9 weeks of in utero life, and fetus from 9 weeks of in utero gestational age to birth, fetus. So these are the terms you should remember. And next, perinatal period is there are extended perinatal period. Usually we are perinatal means we are taking into extended perinatal period only. If you remember, this will be okay. That is 22 weeks of gestation to 7 days after birth. Previously they used to call perinatal period means 20. That is liability of the fetus. So 28 weeks of gestation are more than 1000 grams of birth weight. But now it's 22 weeks and more than 500 grams of birth weight to 7 days of life. We call it extended perinatal period. And postnatal, what are the terms we use? Newborn means first 28 days of life. We call as newborn or neonate. So don't say first 1 month. It's first 28 days of life only. Infancy means first 1 year. It includes newborn period also. From birth to first birthday we call as infant or infancy. Toddler means here 1 to 3 means 1 completed. Whenever in pediatrics we mention any age in months, weeks, or years means that is completed only. So toddler, that means first birthday, after the first birthday, 1 to 3 years. Preschool from 3 years onwards to up to 6 years of age. School age 6 to 10 years and more. Adolescence 10 to 19 years. These words you should remember. By repeated reading only can remember. And these are the according to the birth weight. If the baby's any baby's birth weight is less than 2,500 grams, including 2,499 also called as low birth weight baby. Very low birth weight means less than 1,500 grams of the birth weight, and ELBW, that is extremely low birth weight baby. These terms you should remember for your theory and practicals also. So extremely low birth weight babies means less than 1,000 grams of birth weight. So coming to the requirements, daily requirements for water and calories. As I told you, you should not forget about water. It's also important. Nutrients very, very important. There is water deficiency leading to dehydration, hypovolemia, hypovolemic shock, and renal failure and cardiac shock, and in turn leading to death also. So these are the requirements of water and calories. Usually in younger age group, they require more water or fluids. But for the first 3 days, usually physiological dehydration will be there. So that's why they require less, only 80 to 100 ml per kg. And calories 120 kilocalories. That's why less milk also sufficient. Exclusive breastfeeding, that's why we'll ask for. Sometimes usually mothers will, grandmothers will tell that very less amount of breast milk is coming. Can you offer cow's milk or buffalo? You should tell them they require less fluids only, 80 to 100 ml per kg. After 3 to 10 days, they require around 125 to 150 ml per kg, and maximum from 15 days to first to 3 months of life, 140 to 160 ml per kg. But usually this will be supplied with the milk because they will be an exclusive breastfeeding. So milk contains almost 70 to 80% of the milk is water, so that will be supplied through the breast milk. So these are the calorie requirements. If you can remember, otherwise we can roughly estimate by one formula. What is that formula? Roll number 50. 50 present or absent? All of you should remember that in your attendance, how many minutes you are present in your class also will be recorded. So just coming and leaving will be marked as absent only. Should be there for 1 hour class. That's why I'm calling your numbers. If nobody answering for that number means it is also absent. 51, 52.
51 present, ma'am.
What is your name?
Vagdevi.
Name?
Vagdevi.
51.
Vagdevi, ma'am.
Okay. Can you name the formula which is used for water fluid requirement? Maintenance fluid requirement. We will use one formula. Name of that formula? Okay, anybody? Anybody? Holiday-Segar formula. It is called as Holiday-Segar formula. I will tell you in the later slides. Okay? Next, these are the protein requirements. Proteins also required more proteins in the early age, like first 3 months they require around 2.3 grams per kg per day, and 3 to 6 months 1.8 grams per kg per day. As the child grows, they require less, and they need in maximum growth period like 1 to 3 years 1.83, and adolescents around 1.46. So vitamins, I think all of you know, there's the essential micronutrients for mainly for normal health, fat soluble and water soluble vitamins, and their functions are, I think, and deficiencies also you know. So why these minerals are very important? So especially whenever, especially I told you, iron deficiency can leads to anemia and decreases the physical activity of the child, and also in case of school going children, this may leads to decreased scholastic performance. They may get less marks because they will be having loss of memory, especially amnesia will be there. Their iron deficiency. So parents should see that the child is not anemic before scolding that child and getting less marks. So anemia should be corrected. These are the daily requirement of iron during childhood, especially in preschools. 1 to 3 years, it's around 7 mg per day. 7 mg of elemental iron. It's not the total, say elemental iron. And for childhood, for around 4 to 8 years, it's 10 mg per day. And always, whenever child is more than 1 year, should ask him to take less amount of milk, because milk is a bad low source of iron. So taking more milk, they will feel full of the stomach, and they will take less semi-solids and solids. So there are less chances of taking other food with iron. So they're more prone for anemia. The child is on only milk after 1 year of age, there are more chances of getting becoming anemic children. So what is the importance, why we are bothered about nutrition in childhood? Because nutritional deficiencies can lead to malnutrition, micronutrients deficiencies like iron, iodine can lead to serious problems, and protein energy malnutrition. That's why you should take care of the child's nutrition, proper calories, proteins and micronutrients should be there. And especially the vitamins, vitamin A deficiency can lead to permanent blindness also, xerophthalmia and permanent blindness also. That's why national vitamin A supplementation program is there to prevent the blindness in children due to vitamin A deficiency. And vitamin D deficiency can lead to retarded growth and osteopenia and fractures of the bones, and osteomalacia in adults all will be vitamin D deficiency. Not only that, they're more prone to infections also. And zinc, growth retardation, iron, proteins, these are all important. That's why we are more bothered of the nutrition of the child. And this leads to illness, especially stunted growth, limited development, especially in case of vitamin A deficiency. As I told you, it's a permanent blindness, which can be prevented by supplementing vitamin A in the correct doses. Coming to the dietary evaluation. What is dietary evaluation? Our dietary history. Whenever you write in the case sheet, and if you want to know the nutritional status of your child, you should take the dietary evaluation. Whenever this is taking place, you should record the infant and child feeding practices, like exclusive breastfeeding is given or not. Exclusive breastfeeding means from the immediately after birth, as early as possible. If it is normal delivery within 1 hour, and if it is cesarean within 4 hours, the baby should be started at breast milk only, colostrum, including colostrum. No other water or any food substance should be given before 6 months of age. That is called as exclusive breastfeeding. Even water also should not be given, except for medication like supplements or paracetamol drugs. And total duration after 6 months, up to how many months or years mother continued the breastfeeding, also you have to record in the dietary history. And complementary feeding, when it was started, ideal age is 6 months. So that what type of food they giving also you have to mention. And empower the family pot feeding. Usually family pot feeding will be reached by 1 year of age. So from 0 to 6 months exclusive breastfeeding. At 6 months they should introduce complementary feeding with semi-solids, and by 1 year the child should reach the family pot feeding. That means along with other members the child should take the food. And there is a one entity called safety net. What is that? Is there possibility, is there access is there to or not? Because it's a supplementary feeding which prevents the child to become protein energy malnutrition, like Akshay Patra concept. So Akshay Patra means the mother has to keep some ready to use, ready to eat food like fruits or some snacks at the one corner or at the dining table, which is reachable to the child, height at the reachable height to the child, or otherwise they can put in a pocket of the child. So whenever he feels hungry, he will take. That is called as Akshay Patra to prevent protein and malnutrition in young children. And you have to take a dietary history by 24 hours dietary recall. Whenever any child comes to the hospital, you have to take the dietary history by asking the mother, the grandmother, what food the child used to take before 24 hours coming to the hospital, from awakening period, that is whenever from morning to bedtime. That is called dietary history taking, 24 hours dietary recall method. And adequacy with respect to energy and protein gap is there, energy gap is there. Have to compare with recommended daily allowances. So this is safety net. Here you can see that is hill one is a liquid diet, that is breastfeeding. First 6 months child will be on only exclusive breastfeeding, as I told you. That's entirely liquid diet only. And by 1 year you should take family pot along with others. That is semi-solid or solid. He has to take, that is solid food. By 1 year family pot feeding. That is the hill 2. So he has to come from the hill 1 to hill 2. The period is around 6 months to 12 months of age. What do you call this? Is actually complementary feeding. We will start at 6 months. That's complementary feeding in this in the ladder format. That means breastfeeding will be continued and mother has to start complementary feeding. At that time is very more prone for going for protein energy malnutrition. This is a bit called as malnutrition week. So to prevent this, we should have safety net. So safety net means supplementary feeding. Supplementary feeding is different and complementary feeding is different. Complementary feeding means gradual introduction of semi-solids from the liquid diet to solid diet at correct age, that is 6 months, is called as complementary feeding. Supplementary feeding means along with breastfeeds, along with complementary feeding, we have to give some snacks, fruits, or some easily digestible food. That is called as supplementary feeding. Group eating with along other kids like Anganwadi, Bala Amrutam, all those things. Akshay Patra concept all comes for safety net. These are 3 also provided to the child. During this period, he won't become malnourished child. So, energy requirement according to ICMR recommended dietary allowances should be almost on par with the American RDA for the ideal weight and height of the child. So, bedside we can calculate like this. For 1 year child, usually 1000 kilocalories. After that, above 1 year, 1000 plus 100 kilocalories for each year. Like 2 years child, 1000 plus 100, that is 1100 kilocalories. And adults in boys, they need around 2400 kilocalories, and girls they need 2200 kilocalories. This is the bedside rough estimation. If you can remember like this. So 1 year 1000 kilocalories. Above that, for each year 100 kilocalories per year. And in case adults in boys, this is the ideal calories. This is the ideal calories for girls. But ideally, if you want to calculate correctly, you can use this formula. As I told you, this will be used for all days. Segar formula, both for energy and also fluid. We will use the same formula. But for energy calculation, ideal weight for the weight is we have to take. Like 1 year child should be 10 kgs. So for calculation of energy, we have to take the for 1 year child 10 kgs only. If the child is 8 kgs, should not take 8 kgs. For fluid calculation, we have to take the observed weight of the child. That means for 1 year, if the 1 year child is weighing 8 kgs, we have to take 8 kgs only. You should not calculate for the expected weight 10 kgs. So that if you calculate for expected weight, will be fluid overload and can lead to congestive heart failure. So all of you should remember that Aldous-Segar formula can be used for both energy and fluid requirement, but the ideal weight for the age will be for energy, observed weight for fluid calculation. So how you will use this formula means the weight of the baby is between 1 to 10 kgs. Have to take 100 kilocalories per kg per day. Like for example, as I told you, for 10 kgs child, and 10 into 100 it gives 1000 kilocalories. Above 10 kgs up to 20 kgs, that is 11 to 20 kgs, 1000 plus 50 kilocalories per kg per day. Like 12 kg child, expected weight is 12 kgs. So you should need around 1000 plus 50 into 2, that is 100. So 1100 kilocalories per day. About 20 kgs, 1500 kilocalories plus 20 kilocalories per kg per day. Like 22 kg child, 1500 plus 20 into 2, that is 40 kilocalories, 1540 kilocalories. Adult, average adult needs 40 kilocalories per kg per day. So these are the formulas for Holder's agar formula. I won't repeat this again. It will be useful for your pediatrics practical examination and also case sheet recording. So calculate the case sheet recording, calories in the case sheet recording, and practicals is also very, very important for pediatrics. And coming to the common food values, we should know the common food caloric values and protein values. And before that, you should know the common terms. What is the standard measurements? 1 teaspoon means 5 ml or 5 grams. 1 tablespoon is 15 ml, 15 grams. 1 glass of water or milk means 240 ml, and 1 cup usually means 180 ml. So these you have to write in your notebook whenever you comes to the clinics in your 8th and 9th semester. I will see your notebook, because these will be useful for your dietary history recording. These are the caloric values and protein values for cooked items. This for practicals. For orals, you should tell the caloric values and protein values of uncooked food. So this is cooked food items. Each idli gives average idli, not small, not bigger one. 2 grams proteins and 50 kilocalories. Puri, 2 puris gives 2 grams of protein and 70 kilocalories. Chapati, 1 leads to 2 grams and 70 kilocalories. You can remember 1 idli, 2 puris, 1 chapati, and 1 blood size, and 1 dosa. Almost gives 2 grams proteins and 70 kilocalories, except idli 50 kilocalories. And upma is very high calorie dish. It gives 250 kilocalories, 1 cup, and 6 grams of protein. Ragi, 6 teaspoons, small t means teaspoons, 2 grams protein and 100 kilocalories. Cooked dal, 1 teaspoon means 5 ml, 5 grams. And oil, 1 teaspoon. Oil contains only calories, no protein. So 1 gram fat gives 9 kilocalories. So how many grams they will ask? We have to make it into 9. So 45 kilocalories. Butter, this thing, sugar, jaggery. So like this, you have to record all common cooked items. What are the common food stuffs the child takes usually? You should know caloric value and protein value, and you have to calculate what are the required calories and what are the required proteins according to the Alder-Segar formula. Then you will know calorie deficit and protein deficit. There is calorie deficit and protein deficit. The child more prone for protein energy malnutrition. Okay. If you want, I will provide this PPT to your CR. If he sends his mail ID, you can remember these common food items, caloric values for both community medicine practicals and pediatrics. And this is the last slide. I will stop here. This is very, very important. 6 grams of protein. What are the food items provided? So 1 egg gives 6 grams of protein. Is equivalent to 3 sliced breads, 3 idlis, eating 3 chapatis, 3 dosas, 6 puris, 6 bondas, or 12 teaspoons of cooked dals, or 18 teaspoons of ragi. These are otherwise 1 glass of milk. So among all these, the child takes 1 egg a day. We can provide 6 grams of protein instead of eating this many 3 dosas and 6 puris. They can't afford that much, but they can take 1 egg or 1 glass of milk. Okay, is it clear? If you want the PPT, CR, I think Jyoti Prakash is there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You can send your mail ID, then I will send this PPT to you. Okay.
Okay.
Then I will. Any doubts are there? Anybody? Any doubts? Any doubts are there? If not, I will stop this meeting. End this meeting at this time.